Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Gulfstream today, and welcome to beautiful Gulfstream Park. It's Ron Nicoletti along with Acacia Courtney, and it is Friday. We have 10 races we're going to offer you today, and for all the people out there, happy Good Friday. Hope you're off from work and you can bet with us here this afternoon on track. If not, you know, all over the simulcast where you can certainly bet with us. And on Friday, we have a fun thing to go with, and that is Beat the Expert today.
It is a lot of fun, and it's a contest that we've been doing for quite a few months now. It happens every Friday. I was up last week. Ron, you are up today, so best of luck with your picks today. You must have your picks in by first post, so you have 63 minutes before you have to click send, and that's it.
Click send to go on to our Facebook page. Hashtag let us know you're playing. Hashtag Beat the Expert. You got a chance to win one of those cool polo shirts. I was trying to get my guns to pop out in the shirt, but it looked like it was a lost cause that afternoon. So
you tried.
I tried. At least I tried. I got the squinchy face. I got it all ready, but the guns went out. It really is something you should join and play along with us. It's a lot of fun. So
it is. I don't think we ever cheer for like 2 to 5 shots like we do on Beat the Expert Day, because a win is a win.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. We just have a ball watching the races throughout the afternoon, and always at the end of the day try and see how many beat us, you know, and then always seems to be somebody that gets us there. So the first race today is, you know, where we're going to start the action, and we have to let you know what our wagering menu is this afternoon. And we got the Super High Five starting in race number 1. With about $2,000 in that pool to start. So every time there is a carryover in there, it takes some money. And of course, if you're not aware, it's a $1 wager, and you got to pick the first 5 finishers in the race. And we got 2 pick 5s this afternoon, with the first one starting in race number 1 this afternoon.
It is starting in race 1 today. Lots of action to kick things off, and then we do have that Rainbow Six as well. A carryover in there, approaching 14,000. That starts in race number 5 today. Yeah,
we end the day, of course, with our final pick 5 of the afternoon, which will be race number 6 with this 10-race format this afternoon. Fast main track, firm turf course. First race on the Friday card. 5 furlongs on the turf. Maiden claimers, fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward. 7 will go to the post, and Acacia's going to show you her first of 2. Oh, by the way, she hit the late pick 5 yesterday. It really paid nice, like $500. It
was actually over $600. So that was pretty nice on my $48 ticket. So I will try to get the pick 5 home again today. We'll give you a look at my early pick 5. I do have a single in here, but I'm going to spread in the first leg. I thought that this was kind of a wide open race. I'm spreading on the bookends and a little bit lighter in the middle. So 4 horses to start things off, just 2 in the second, 3 in the third, and I'm getting single Class and Cash in the 4th race. It'll be a heavy favorite. It's not the biggest field, and there are some solid horses in there, but this horse has just been in excellent form. And then using 4 horses again in race 5, $48.
Yeah, I mean, that's the perfect single to have in that early pick 5, and very affordable at $48. And maybe get one of those bombers in those races where you went deep. It certainly worked for you yesterday. Paying that over $600, that is pretty good for a $48 investment. Now, I started it off in here with the 4 Daddy's Heiress, who's wheeling back, same level in distance, have to steady a little bit in the stretch when finishing 3rd behind a late close called Being Daddy's Song, and a horse that's in this race, and that is Better Be Fast. Last time out wasn't that much trouble in the stretch, but did have some trouble, and Being Daddy Song was just flying at the end.
Was really, and we actually talked about this a couple of days ago when Being Daddy Song did come back. The way that Better Be Fast was kind of drifting out in the stretch, we saw Being Daddy Song on the outside. Daddy's Heiress actually, I thought, finished very strongly to get 3rd. It really ended up being a 2-horse race between those 2 in the front end. And Daddy's Heiress, it looks like, showed some early interest, then settled back a little bit. You mentioned a little bit of trouble in there, but again, it finished very strongly. And of course, I do think it's a nod of approval that Jose Ortiz rode this horse last time, gets Nick Juarez up today.
Yeah, and we both were in agreement with that. And then at the horse we've been talking about, Better Be Fast, is hoping to stay straight through that lane, as you had got beat that neck last time out. The trainer is Kathleen O'Connell. Eduardo Nunez in the saddle.
And we both picked against this horse, but respecting her, of course, in the exact. And we'll show a stat on trainer Kathleen O'Connell in the past 5 years. Turf sprints in the money last time out at the maiden claiming level. Just looking at Gulfstream, not the biggest sample size, but 3 for 11, 27% in the win column, and 7 for 11 in the money with an ROI of more than $3. And this horse, she's been kind of a tough one to figure out because she went dirt, turf, sloppy track, turf. Just looking from a number standpoint and a visual standpoint, her turf races do seem to be stronger. She stays on the turf now, and we know that speed is the name of her game, but it almost looks like, as you said, she has trouble keeping a little straight in the stretch and maybe even kind of waiting for horses to come and pass her.
Well, we'll see how that works out, but I think you got to use those two. Now, the horse I had some interest in third, and here is the one, A Fashion Affair. Going to turn back to 5 furlongs with blinkers added. Return from a layoff, finished fourth. Beaten less than 2 lengths in that race. It was a 25 maiden race, but it was at the fairgrounds, and the trainer's Keith Bourgeois. He's got C.J. McMahon in the saddle today, and we're trying to figure out how these horses are going to run here. We had one run yesterday. It was a good second, so we're trying to figure out that a lot of horses coming to Gulfstream this summer from the Louisiana area, from the fairgrounds, so trying to see where they fit as far as the claiming level and the allowance level and so on.
And that'll be an interesting thing to keep an eye on as well. It looks like this filly could stalk from the rail. She's got the blinkers on, as you mentioned. I was really intrigued by the 2 Holters girls, second off the layoff now. Took a big drop in class after about a 7-month break. Added the Lasix last time as well. Coming out of that same race of the top 2 horses that we talked about, but she was actually pretty wide early and was trying on the outside, so we'll see if she improves today.
We're going to go to race number 2 on the main track today. The main track is fast, 6.5 furlongs, maiden special weight 3 and up. We do have one scratch in here of the number 3. 3-Star Stone. I went with the number 4 in here, Pure Cotton. You went with the 7, Frostproof.
I did. Well, this was a tough race to kind of narrow in on. It's a maiden special weight, and you have several horses that are either coming off big layoffs or have been exposed already against maiden claiming company and not been successful. This is not the saltiest maiden special weight race for sure, but I wanted a new face, a first-time starter that maybe has doesn't have as many excuses as the rest of the field for sure. And looking at Mike Yates, actually first-time starters in dirt, sprint, and maiden claiming level, he is just 9% win, but he's in the money 33% of the time and an ROI of more than $3. So it's not like it never happens. He does debut with Lasix, and he's probably Frost Giant, and we were actually talking about this. Actually a pretty productive New York sire, a New York bred firster in here, and thought that this one, first-time starter again, might be the one that fits.
Well, I kept looking at this race, and I went between 2 horses, the one being the 4, Pure Cotton, and the other one being the 5, Time Will Tell. And I went with Pure Cotton. I'll tell you why. Making its 4-year-old debut with Lasix added, ending his sophomore campaign with a pair of second place finishes. That was going 7 furlongs, was here last August, so returning from the layoff, but the horse has been working well, shows a series of sharp workouts, including that recent half-mile bullet in 46-1. So off that workout pattern, showed this horse can run well here at Gulfstream, you know, being second in a couple of races. I thought that was the way to go.
And I absolutely respect that horse off of all of that. The work tab definitely is intriguing for the barn after a 180-day layoff. Just looking in the past years, is 0 for 7. So not necessarily something that the barn does a lot, let alone have success with. But he does get the Lasix added today. Now the 5, Time Will Tell, is 0 for 11, coming off of a 6-month layoff as well. And I would imagine that this horse will probably be part of the pace scenario. We don't know what Pure Cotton off the layoff and those sharp works might show some speed, but we have seen Time Will Tell forwardly placed as well. He actually cost $140,000 at the sale.
Yeah, and he's 4 for 5 and 4 for 6 in the money on this track. He returns after that fall campaign up New York, so there is reason to believe that this horse will run well, but a wide open affair, and you saw that in case you did put a first-time starter on top, and I can understand that in that race. Now, race number 3 this afternoon is a 6-furlong claimer for fillies, 3-year-olds, $35,000, 7 in the field. We have our exactor, I believe, flip-flop. We'll start with you with the inside horse, and that's Tonina.
And Tonina certainly has her questions, because you just read the short comments of her 4 races, and the start is absolutely her problem. If you look at her race, actually, when she broke her maiden, that race where she was kind of boxed in at the start, that was not at all her fault. She actually broke cleanly. And the other races, it looks like she does the same thing. I went back and watched the head-on of each of her performances, and she does kind of just take a left turn at the break. So that is an issue, and especially with the rail post would be an issue. Now, I love the jockey change to Tyler Gaffleone today, now 3rd off the layoff as well, coming off of a pretty strong 2nd place finish.
Well, I went with the, like I said, we have our exacta flip-flop. I like the 2 a little bit better in here. Easy's Mistress, turning back to 3/4 of a mile. 6 races at that distance, race with a win in 3 seconds. Chased the pace, tired to finish 5th. Was a 35 optional claimer, contested at 7 furlongs. Love the work that Larry Pilati does. Miguel Vasquez in the irons. Would I single one of these two? Absolutely not. So we got him flip-flop. We both went with the 7, Nola Fashion in 3rd.
I think Nola Fashion, again, shipping in from the fairgrounds for Leo Gabriel Jr., who was here last year. But back on Easy's Mistress, that race last time on paper doesn't look so bad, but she was actually last in the field of 5. And she's a horse, she was second behind Who's the Lady, who's just been in excellent form and went on to win a stake. So I certainly respect her and do like her much better at the 6 furlongs. I was a little intrigued by the 3 Ballyhoo Moon as well, who promises to be part of the pace first off the claim for Sandra Slivka.
Yeah, Nola Fashion, we're giving you this homework. You got to do. You got to see horse. But Leo Gabriel Jr. was here last year, and he did an excellent job. And he usually spots his horses where they can run well. So a horse you should keep an eye on. Now, this 4th race this afternoon, 7 1/2 furlongs on the turf. These are starter optional claimers, 4 years old and up, that started for $35,000 or less, or an optional claiming price of $35,000. And what I wanted to do, this is your single in here. Now, I'm going to show you this horse's last 2 races back-to-back without a break. And the reason I want to do that today, because I went back and looked at both, and they both look exactly the same in here. So we'll start it rolling, and there you see this is on number 6 on the front here, and just you know, going off and winning it, you know, just going away and just looking pretty good there, and, you know, wins it by 3.5 lengths. The reason I want to go back, now I want to show you the horse is going to be the 4 this day, and you're going to see similar thing when this race rolls through. You'll see the next one coming back, and here it is again. You'll see her coming right down. It almost looks like the same exact race. She just has that bing, so she's on that form, and I can understand totally why you singled this horse.
And just exactly that. He has the rail post position today, actually coming off 2 wins in a row. The only blemish in his form, he had 2 wins prior as well, but the only blemish was in the Claiming Crown Emerald, excuse me, and there was just a lot of speed in there. A lot of horses wanted the lead, and then it was a cavalry charge down towards the wire, with Keystone for Victory being the only one really having a good trip. So Class and Cash just been in excellent form lately. You showed those races, but looking at some alternatives, I don't know if Class and Cash could get beat today, but you always do kind of wonder if a horse is vulnerable as a heavy favorite. But the 5 Little Baltar was a horse that really did intrigue me, because he came off of a layoff from October to January, and his last 2 races were in incredibly tough company, won by Siding Spring and Bala Rocks in the last 2. And he actually was sent early last time out, but Siding Spring ended up getting the lead that day and went on to wire the field. We saw Siding Spring go on into stakes competition, and again beaten by Bala Rocks and Conquest Typhoon, really classy horses prior to that, and he finished 3rd. So I think that Little Baltar has some sneaky good form, and maybe a horse that's just needed to be in this spot.
Yeah, and, you know, you're talking about Class and Cash, and this horse, you know, you're talking about that race that it did not win. This is a much easier spot, and I just thought it had a tactical advantage. I like all you said about the number 5 Little Baltar, trained by Carlo Vaccarezza. I had some interest in the 2 in here too. My point, exactly who you have on your ticket. Dropping, he followed a pair of turf victories at the $35,000 level with a 5-wide 5th place finish. That was in the Grade 3 Appleton. However, he needs to stay out of a speed duel with Class and Cash to get the job done this afternoon. So I think I like him, you know, behind the horse that I think is going to win the race. But as you said, that's why they run these races. You know, if this horse gets beat, the early pick 5 is going to pay a lot. We're talking about Class and Cash.
Absolutely, and it looks like My Point exactly is better when he's on the lead. And last time he was just dealing with some incredibly classy horses, and all included in Delta Prince. If there is some speed, I did think the 4 Lay That Pistol Down could close, but I'm not quite sure if he's at the level of some of the other horses in here.
Well, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, race number 5 is where the Rainbow Six starts this afternoon.
At ExpressBet, we celebrate the champions that make horse racing great. That's why we provide more ways to bet from more places than ever. We've built an entire family of brands to give players more of the rewards they deserve, give bettors the information they need to win, and provide a community for horse bettors. Because the best way to support the champions of horse racing is to champion horse racing. ExpressBet, we are racing.
Welcome back to Gulfstream today. Ron, along with Akeisha Courtney, and we have our Rainbow Six starting in race number 5. It's a 5.5 furlong claiming event, 4 and up, $6,250. No scratches or jockey changes. Going to show you my ticket here, and you're going to see almost single 2 horses in there, but I ended up just singling the horse that just broke the track record. So there's a horse that I think deserves to be single, pay any price. That will be race number 8. But the horse I had some interest in, race number 9, was Leonardo da Vinci, the 2. This horse we're going to show you his previous race. I almost singled both and added a lot more, but I didn't want to take that chance. So my ticket, $43.20.
And all is right in the world when Ron's ticket is back to $43.20. I like it, and amazingly, I actually have the same single as you today.
Got to carry both of us around the track here. Well, let's start it off, at least I did, with the 3. My Johnny Be Good, who moved to the Christus Gaddis barn after that claim. Will try and make it 2 in a row after leading every step of the way in that race as the odds-on choice to win at this level and distance. Is there 2 in the tank?
I think there might be, and this is a horse he's been in very good form lately. He's also been very popular at the claim box lately, and he's actually delivered as the heavy favorite in 2 of his recent starts. He was bet down 40 cents to the dollar last time, bet down 10 cents to the dollar a couple starts back. And in both of those races, it did actually look like he might not be the lone speed. Like there might also be some other speed there. He managed to get the win in both of those events. He finished 3rd 2 starts back behind some pretty good horses, and he does fit at this open 62.50 level, I think. And just looking from a class standpoint and a form standpoint, last time out he earned a 71 Beyer speed figure, and it just looks like he might be stronger than some he'll face today.
Well, I'm getting ready to talk about the next horse. I got to use my hands because it's the 5-horse today, and that's Little Meatball. So one of our favorite named horses here. And, you know, Little Meatball always shows some speed or tries and shows some speed. So we're going to go back and show you the start of its last race, where you'll just see the trouble that this horse gets in here right now is just right here when we started up. You'll see it here. Just goes up and just gets slammed at the start. And what happens there, just wanted to show that briefly, was that didn't show its usual speed. He's actually last back there, and you just see it, then has to carve out a trip, and I think he had to wait for another day. Broke last in the field of 10, and you could see him back there, and he really didn't have anywhere to run.
And I think the bigger thing, too, is that he was kind of outclassed in there. Yeah. He's taking a big drop in class now to the 62.50 level, where that's actually where his last win came. Though it's interesting, his last 2 wins did come on a sealed, sloppy track, but he's got some back class to him as well. He's even faced stakes company last summer. But we will show a stat on trainer Tammy Levy as well on the dirt with that 50% claiming tag drop, which I do think will be the key for Little Meatball. She's very, very strong with this kind of move. 5 for 17, 29% win, 9 for 17 in the money, and a $3.02 ROI. Second time in the barn on the class drop. I thought he fits in here.
Well, number 1, Dreaming of Joey, 8 for 17 in the money on his previous campaign at Gulfstream Park. Returns, he dual for Leo. He faded to finish 4th. It was a 75 condition claimer going 6 furlongs at the fairgrounds on their main track. But this horse has experience here, and actually, as I said, hit the money at 8 of 17.
Yeah, he's a 3-time winner locally here at Gulfstream, which I think does give him a bit of an edge, and maybe has some of that past experience. Muscle memory will kick in when he gets back to South Florida from the fairgrounds. But he's got a lot of speed as well, which is what kind of concerns me about my Johnny Be Good if they do get into some sort of duel, because we really just don't know what to expect from Dreaming of Joey.
And Little Meatball's going to be up there in that first flight. So you know, we'll see how that pace scenario plays out. Now, race 6 this afternoon, a 1-mile turf event. These are claiming fillies, 3-year-olds, $50,000 down to $40,000. And this is where we have our last pick 5 of the afternoon. And I know you have a ticket you want to show them.
I do. And as I alluded to earlier, the same single as Ron in race 8 today with pay any price. So everything hinging on that. He did break the track record last time he raced ahead of the really classy runner Power Alert. But 3 in this first leg here to kick things off with the maiden 50,000. Spreading with 4 in the 7th, my single with pay any price in the 8th, then 3 and 2 in the 10th. Just $36 today.
Well, you didn't use my horse that I have on top in here, and that's the 5, Niles Angel. And this one, this filly, I want to show you its performance last time out. It was at the $75,000 level, so dropping to this 50 level. And just going to pick it up as this horse is the number 4 that afternoon, and just going to show you here, this horse, when it comes home, you're going to see it out, going out here, just, far out, and just 5 wide turning for home. And I thought the horse ran really well. I put the map up there. There you go. See, we're still filling out the telestrator, and there is the 4-horse closing to be second. I'm not going to touch it now because I put the map of Japan up there. But the 4-horse finishing second. I'm trying to use these big fingers. Something we're still working with. But I thought it was a good performance, 5 wide on there.
It was, yes. She did close 5 wide, and I thought she actually ran pretty well to close like that. I did have a couple of reservations. Yes, she is technically taking a bit of a drop in class, but she's been exposed against this level of competition before. She's been running at the maiden claiming level, just not really able to get the job done. And yes, she's been running against some nice horses, but I don't think this is an easy field that she meets here by any means. So I do respect her. Just looking that she is kind of pace dependent, she will close from the outside. I did look for an alternative. I landed on the 3 Rare Gem, who's also taking a class relief in here, but I thought that this one has shown promise in her last 2 starts, and she has kind of the same thing as Niles Angel, that she has been exposed at this level before, but last time out she made a wide move too, and she's a horse that has actually taken some tote attention. We've seen Niles Angel be a big price in all of her starts, so maybe you'll get a price on her today, but Rare Gem with Luca Panici in the saddle, beaten also last time by My Sister Sledge, who did come back to win next time.
Yeah, we both used the 1-1 Tough Angel, stretching out around 2 turns. Stalked swift fractions last time out, finished second in back-to-back sprints at 5 furlongs. Daughter of Warriors Reward breaks in the rail. Should be part of the pace this afternoon from that inside post position. So I think this one's going to go up on the lead.
I imagine that she'll send. Also had some interest in a first-time starter with a nice work tab for Ralph Nix in the 7 Sister Drama to the outside. We'll show a stat quickly on Ralph Nix. In the past 5 years with first-time starters on the turf at Gulfstream, he's just 14% win, 36% of the time in the money, is a positive ROI of 257. Now this stat does become much lower in a negative ROI when you narrow it down just to maiden claiming, but this filly does have a really nice work tab she's coming in on.
Yeah, and Ralph, it just seems that he does so much better with the main track. Not that he can't win on the turf, but certainly a good stat to show them. Now race number 7 this afternoon, 6 furlongs allowance, optional claimer, state bred, 3 and up in here. We do have 1 scratch of the number 8 horse, and that is Social Roy will be scratched out of the 7th race. I went with the 3 Bulldozer on top. You went with the number 6 horse, and you had further down on the ticket, and that's Town Policy.
And you went with Safi Joseph Jr. first off the claim from the barn of Jorge Navarro. I went with the Jorge Navarro runner. It seems like they are actually claiming off of each other and both having a lot of success. Now, Town Policy is coming off, I think, a very strong race. Manny Jimenez, he was a 10-pound apprentice that time, now 7-pound apprentice, was in the saddle last time out at this level of competition. He was beaten by Prudhoe Bay, a horse that's just been in fantastic form lately, so I think no shame in that. He's got a lot of speed in here, and yes, there might be speed from Big Boy Bruno as well, but I just think that Town Policy, especially with the lightweight, is going to blast off and go.
He's going to go and try and run. He's getting in with, like you said, the apprentice. I'll tell you why I like Bulldozer Button here. As you mentioned, changing barns today through the claim, goes to Safi Joseph Jr., competes for the 12-5 tag in this optional claimer, looking to rebound after sitting behind those glib early fractions, 21-4, 44 flat, failing to mount that rally and settling for 4th at this level. But the barn, we've been telling you, does so good first off the claim. I think it's a good spot. They put it in for the 12-5 tag, and that was my reasoning in there. If the 6-1, would I be shocked? Absolutely not.
And I do think that it could go through either of those horses, and this is certainly an old war horse. He's a 9-year-old gelding, a 20-time winner on form. The number 5 bar down, second off the claim for Milt Wolfson. Did have some interest in this horse after a good race last out.
Yeah, we'll see how that race 7 plays out. Now, race number 8, where we both have our single this afternoon, 5 furlongs on the turf, starter optional claimer, 4 and up starter for $16,000 or less, or the optional claiming price of $25,000. And we do have a few scratches in here we want to let you know about. Scratch the number 3, Chia Ghost, the 4, Beantown Saint, and the main track only number 10, Blings Express. And pay any price, going to be the 5 horse this afternoon, dropping back into the starter optional claiming ranks after using his speed to establish a new track record by winning the $75,000 Silks Run by 3+ lengths.
He was ultra impressive last time, and just if you look at the fractions of how that race was run and how they went 42-1 the half there, and he just was blowing away from the rest of the field and just kept extending that lead. And interesting, we actually saw his full brother trying the turf for the first time yesterday get the win for Kathleen O'Connell. But as I said, he was beaten. He beat a horse named Power Alert. He also beat a Breeders' Cup winner in Mongolian Saturday. So that was not an easy $75,000 stake, and he was ultra impressive in there.
Yeah, you know, if you subscribe to the bounce theory, you might think he bounces off that. I don't think it's going to happen. We both used the one Starship Thor in second. Does his best running from a stalking position. He's going to go from the rail after notching his third consecutive victory at the distance last out. He sits behind the speed, and if anybody challenges Pay Any Price, maybe he sits the trip.
Absolutely, and maybe Pay Any Price is just stronger than the rest of the field, but it is hard to ignore Starship Thor completely because he's been in fantastic form lately. 3 wins in a row, as you said, and Pay Any Price has proved he can put back-to-back victories together already. But even the 6 Starship Wildcat has shown some speed in his last 2. He's a horse that's been in very good form since the layoff.
Yeah, and he reaps the spoils if a suicide duel develops on the front end this afternoon. Now, race number 9 this afternoon, 1 mile on the turf, an allowance optional claimer, state bred, 3-year-olds and up with the optional claiming price of $16,000. And I really like a horse in here today, and that's the 2 Leonardo da Vinci. And I'm going to go back and show you this horse's performance as he was running up the backstretch last time out. And I'm not going to put the map of Japan up there. Just going to show you here that this horse is just, you know, constantly, you know, having to steady all the way up as it goes up. And you're just going to see it, you know, it just keeps steadying. There you see it's the number 2 right there, and just keeps going around and steadying. So I just thought that this horse here, you know, she'll pulling, looking for a place to run in here. We're going to switch and we're going to go to the stretch, which I really thought this horse, again, steady, and again, you'll see it right in there. Yeah, he comes in the stretch. And I just thought he ran well. He splits horses here and just comes running down, and you see him coming through, right through, and I just thought he ran a bang-up second in there after having to steady up the whole backstretch. So Leonardo da Vinci, my pick today, and actually my best bet on the card.
And I totally agree with you. I did think that he had a little bit of early trouble, maybe was kind of pulling, wanted to be a bit more forwardly placed for Jose Lezcano last time out, and he's been in good form. He had 2 wins in a row. He's been claimed a couple of times recently. We will show a stat on trainer Jane Sibeli in the past 5 years with turf routes in the money last time out, second off of the claim, 5 for 17, 29% win, 65% of the time in the money, and nearly even ROI, just slightly under $2, 189 to be exact. And I respect this horse. I did look elsewhere, though, because he has had those 2 wins in a row. Last time out, I would like to see him get into the race a little bit earlier, be settled a bit more. So I did go with the 7, Just Fooling Around for Fernando Abreu. Added the blinkers on last time, first off the claim, and I thought that that was a very impressive race first off the claim that he certainly could improve off of.
Yeah, he got beaten a length last time at this level and distance, so certainly is reason to believe he'll move forward this afternoon. But Leonardo da Vinci, jump on board. I think that's the one to beat this afternoon. And then we both used the number 6 card, stepping up today to face winners with Lasix added after a successful career debut at the distance in which he rallied 3 wide. He beat state bred maiden special weight competition by a neck, George Weaver, Tyler Gaffley, Gelded Son to put it back.
And he run against a very competitive state bred special weight field last time out. Now, maiden winners last time out for the barn, not the most productive move, but he does have the Lasix added, and he did win at first asking when I think that the connections were a little bit unsure if he was going to be ready to go right away, but he was impressive.
Well, let's go to race number 10 this afternoon. Our final race on the Friday card. 5 furlongs on the turf, maiden claimers, fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, $12,500. 1 jockey change on the 7. Make the rider Martin Ramirez. Also scratched the outside horse, number 10, Lady Greatness. And you went with the number 6 horse in here, Synchronizing. Who's dropping to this level today?
Yes, she is dropping, and I've tried to get Synchronizing home a couple of times, but I like the drop in class. I like that she stays at the 5 furlongs, and she was pressing on the outside last time out, so maybe she can get in a good spot here today. Do respect the connections, of course, as well. I just could not put Southern and Sassy on top.
I was waiting for you to say that. Number 9, Southern and Sassy, is going to give it one more shot at trying to break her maiden after finishing second, beaten 3/4 of a length. Antonio Antonio Sano. He lightens the imposts this afternoon. He's got the apprentice Carlos Hernandez up top. This 0 for 19 maiden. You're just rooting for this horse to get this maiden victory.
Of course, and she's a 6-year-old mare. She's 0 for 19, as you said, and it looks like this is your female Adagio of the moment, just trying to get this horse home, and she's got some speed to her as well, especially with apprentice Carlos Hernandez in the saddle. I did not leave her off of the pick 5, but as I said, I just could not put her on top, and hopefully this will be the day. Also threw in the 8, Checkout Gilda, another one dropping in class. This one third time for the barn for Sean Creaky.
Yeah, we just got our final 2 flip-flop there. We used the 1 Perfect State, 4th behind Southern Sassy and Synchronizing back on March 29th, and 3rd behind Southern and Sassy on March 9th. Breaks in the rail figures as part of the pace this afternoon. Now, Southern and Sassy has finished in front of these horses a lot, just doesn't cross the wire first.
Yes, we'll see if today is the day for Southern and Sassy.
Well, good luck with your selections. Don't forget, Beat the Expert, race number 1. You just have a few moments, about a half hour to play Beat the Expert. I'm up this afternoon, get a chance to win one of those cool polo shirts.
Got your guns ready?
Yeah, my. I don't have the guns. I got to get them. I'm trying to find them. Good luck with all your selections today.
We have to take care of these horses that, give us so much joy.
Being accredited